Lisa Cook. She is the African American Federal Reserve Governor, whom President Trump says he will fire. However, Federal Reserve Governor Lisa Cook said she will sue to keep her job as Trump is mulling her replacement. Tyrone Bowman Live, let's unpack this story as reported by Reuters news agency. So here's the summary so far. Trump says he has cause to remove her, but will abide by a court ruling. Another open board seat could boost Trump's influence over the Federal Reserve. Market reaction to Trump's unprecedented move on Cook is muted. And the Fed meets next to set interest rates on September 16th through the 19th. Federal Reserve Governor Lisa Cook will file a lawsuit to prevent President Donald Trump from firing her, a lawyer for the embattled central bank official said on Tuesday, kicking off what could be a protracted legal fight over the White House's efforts to shape United States monetary policy. His attempt to fire her based solely on a referral letter lacks any factual or legal basis. We will be filing a lawsuit challenging this illegal action, Cook's lawyer, prominent Washington attorney Abby Lowell, said in a statement. The statement was issued a day after Trump said he would fire Cook, the first black woman to serve on the central bank's governing body, for alleged, quote, deceitful and potential criminal conduct, end quote, related to mortgages she took out in 2021. Trump's attempt to remove her, unprecedented in the 111-year history of the nominally independent U.S. Federal Reserve Board, consistent with his style of breaking norms and prompting opponents to challenge him in court. It follows other largely successful efforts to bring other elements of the U.S. government under his direct control. Since returning to office in January, the president has overseen the departure of hundreds of thousands of civil servants, dismantled several agencies, and withheld billions of dollars of spending authorized by Congress. We need people that are 100% above board, and it doesn't seem like she was, Trump told reporters at a meeting. He said he had several good people in mind to replace Cook, but would abide by any court decision that left her in her job. Trump pressed the Fed to lower interest rates during his first term in the White House, and he has escalated that campaign in recent months. The president has demanded that rates be cut by several percentage points and threatened to fire Fed Chair Jerome Powell, although he recently backed down from that. Cook's departure would allow Trump to pick a majority of the Fed's 7 board members, including 2 incumbents and the pending nomination of White House economist Stephen Moran. Trump said he may consider Moran, whom he nominated, for a temporary seat on the Fed board that is due to expire in January for Cook's seat should it become vacant. The Wall Street Journal reported the former World Bank Group president, David Malpass, a longtime Trump ally, was also discussed for the job. The Fed said in a statement that Cook and other board members serve 14-year tenures and cannot be removed easily from office in order to ensure that monetary policy decisions are based on economic data and the long-term interests of the American people. Though Trump on Monday said Cook's firing was effective immediately, the Fed statement indicates that it sees Cook's status as unchanged. The central bank next meets to set interest rates on September 16th through the 17th. Based on the Fed's statement, it appears it would take a court ruling between now and then for her to be prevented from participating. The attempt to influence U.S. monetary policy has shaken confidence in the dollar and U.S. Sovereign debt and sparked fears of global financial turmoil. You know, this reminds me of an old-fashioned shakedown, trying to force someone out of their position because that person will not do the things that you want them to do. This is like mobster. That's a mobster type authority in this case. Some anonymous letter that was sent saying that Lisa Cook is ineffective for the job. Wall Street's main equitable indexes closed slightly higher on Tuesday, while the dollar dropped. The yield curve on U.S. Treasuries steepened on Tuesday as Trump's attempt to fire Cook raised concerns about the U.S. central bank's independence and the prospect of potentially more dovish composition of Fed policymakers. Trump said in a letter to Cook on Monday that he had significant cause to fire her because she had described separate properties in Michigan and Georgia as primary residences on mortgage applications before she joined the Fed in 2022. Well, how about the corrupt Supreme Court? No one is talking about the things going on with the United States Supreme Court. In recent months, Trump has fired several black women who have held senior government positions, including the head of the Library of Congress and the chair of the National Labor Relations Board. This is in line with this Nazi-type dictatorial thing that's going on in the nation right now. As it has been said, and if you take a look at it, there's only one token black person, and that person is I think he's the Secretary of HUD. And that's nothing. Being the Secretary of HUD has no power, no authority whatsoever. It's just a token position that they created to try to pacify people. That's why we have to create our own jobs, our own corporations, our own separate entities, so we can tell our stories and stay woke and not be lulled to sleep. William Pulte, a Trump appointee who was director of the Federal Housing Finance Agency, first raised questions about Cook's mortgages last week and referred the matter to U.S. Attorney General Pamela Bondi for investigation. Bondi has yet to say whether the Justice Department will take action. She is due to serve on the Fed through 2038, but the Federal Reserve Act of 1913 allows removal of a sitting governor for cause, quote, close quote. Until now, the power has not been tested. U.S. presidents have largely taken a hands-off approach to Fed matters to ensure confidence in monetary policy. Peter Conti Brown, a scholar of the Fed's history at the University of Pennsylvania's Wharton School of Business, noted that the mortgage transactions preceded her appointment to the Fed and were in the public record when she was vetted and confirmed by the Senate. So if there would have been any sort of wrongdoing, the Senate would have never confirmed her. The idea that you can then reach back, turn the clock backwards and say, all these things that have happened before now constitute fireable offenses from your official position is to me egregious with the entire concept for cause removal, Conti Brown said. Academic research has found that policymakers who are allowed to manage inflation independent of political meddling generally achieve better outcomes. The Fed as an institution escaped harm in the first Trump administration and will not be so fortunate this time around, said Tim Duve, chief U.S. economist at SGH Micro Advisors. Tyrone Bowman, never surrender, never quit.